Morning.
Spida Hunter from ehpfitness.com. He knows a bit about fitness.
Yes, from ehpfitness.com. Spida Hunter, S-P-I-D-A Hunter, one word on Twitter as well. Morning, Spida.
Oh, morning, Wammo.
Oh, the digital pimp. How you like that?
Oh, awesome, mate. I enjoyed the digital pimp. There's a pimp in all of us.
It certainly is. Hey, today we're talking about taking responsibility. Now, this is on the back of the discussion just a little bit earlier on this morning with Ruth Dyson, who's the health spokesperson for the Labour Party, who was looking at some of these changes to DHBs, now some kind of national health service, and ACC as well. This issue of taking responsibility for yourself rather than expecting others to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, well, mate, it's just purely I listened to that conversation and stuff. I mean, it's a debacle, really. I'm not saying that Ruth is right and National's wrong or vice versa. I'm just saying that why would we put faith into a system that generally doesn't support us either way? So the only option you really have, which I'm a big believer of anyway, anyone that's been listening long enough, is that you just take responsibility for your own health and source out your own forms of education and go down the path of completely wrong to find something right for yourself.
That's not to say that it doesn't help when you do need it. You know, when your health does fail or you do have an accident. By and large, compared to other systems around the world, it still works.
Well, yeah, of course, because that's the argument that people always make. Compared to, say, the States. I mean, we definitely work. But, I mean, it's hard to make those comparisons if you don't know.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the system is obviously... There's a lot of work to be done. I mean, I don't even have any answers for what Ruth had to say, that may even be better. But I do struggle to think, paying $50 for a doctor visit.
Yeah.
And, I mean... And I always have an issue with doctors. They're not generally the healthiest people. They're, so... I look at it and I think, why would I pay you $50 to have you tell me what to do where you're not a specimen to look at that's worthy?
But that's because doctors, man, they work so damn hard, long hours.
They do, they burn themselves out. So I can understand why they tend to, have physiques that maybe aren't ideal or lifestyles that don't support what they say.
Yeah.
Because they're in a system that just kills them.
Yeah.
I mean, nurses is a classic example. You get two forms of nurses generally. Those that have got a big chip on their block and they can't, grumpy as hell when they're working the wards, or those that are so bloody lovely and polite that they burn out.
Right. Too much, giving out too much love.
Yeah, and the system doesn't support them and they just end up burnt out and they chuck it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I'm always a big believer in sourcing out your own forms of information and going to educated people that kind of represent what you want and keep evolving that kind of thinking.
Yeah. Of course, you're into prevention, really, aren't you? Like trying to keep on top of things with your own health so that you don't need that ambulance at the bottom of the cliff.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that aspect to it, as if you keep ahead of the game, you don't have to, need emergencies hopefully as often, but there's also things that I'm also in the industry of making the most of what I've got. So if someone turns up with injuries to boot or issues to boot, then we got to, source those out as well.
Right. Did you see the documentary New Zealand or Inside New Zealand documentary the other night on TV3 about vitamins?
No, I saw the ads and I thought, I've got to watch that, and of course I missed it. So what was the conclusion of that?
I didn't see it, but I've been reading science blogs from the Science Media Centre, and they've been making some comment about it. Generally in agreement with the documentary itself. Basically, I mean, it comes down to the old mantra again: everything in moderation. But they say, that there are risks associated with taking too many vitamins or vitamins from too many different sources, and having high concentrations of certain vitamins in your body cannot be a good thing. And the best thing to do is to get the vitamins you need from the food you eat.
That's very that's very fluffy, pie-in-the-sky stuff. I mean, the food we eat is tempered. So, I mean, I can understand the points to where they're coming from. I definitely can understand that. I mean, at the end of the day, there's certain vitamins and nutrients that you need, and if people saturate it with overdosing on things, then they've stretched it too far, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, obviously, they're taking too many, right?
Yeah, because basically, if you're looking at it from an idealistic point of view, you want to go have a hormonal profile, and they can tell you what substances are weak or what you've got less of, if you're low in zinc, if you're low in iron, or whatever.
Yeah.
And once you have that, then you can substitute the right supplements, hopefully to raise those levels. Because every time you take a supplement, there's got to be a byproduct or by-effect of something else in your system.
Yeah.
So it's not like you take vitamin C and you're kosher.
I think the argument from scientists who are the vitamin skeptics say that if as long as you're living a balanced life with a balanced diet and you're eating the right things, you're fresh fruit and veggies, all that, then you probably won't need vitamin supplements. I don't quite. I used to subscribe to that, but I think our food is so tampered with anyway. Like you and I both have vegetable gardens. We could sell our vegetables at a better price and better quality than what we get in the supermarket. So you're saying that the problem is the food chain and where the produce comes from? Yeah,
that's where the issue is for me. Is like that theory that is a fantastic theory, and 100 years ago was, or not even that, maybe even. I think it was 30 years ago, before we started tampering with food on a mainstream market, that absolutely stood up in my eyes.
But there was a recent study done, though, that compared organic fruit and veggies with normal fruit and veggies that come from big market gardens, and said that there wasn't much of a difference in the vitamin makeup and nutrient makeup of those fruit and veggies.
Yeah, quite possibly, because at the end of the day, there's grey on both sectors of the industry, and the mainstream and in the organics. Organics have got their issues of there's some bull lies in that as well. So, I mean, that's where, again, you need to take responsibility and look at, one, who funded that study, to have a look at it from a person looking from the outside looking in. Like, the best and only way to really know is do your own veggies. Right.
But getting back to the vitamin side of things, so you're saying even if you are eating a well-balanced diet, chances are you still need vitamins?
That's, in my opinion, chances are you still need vitamins, or I call them insurance. Some people say vitamins are a load of rubbish, and I say, to a point I can understand where they're coming from as well, but I say it's just insurance. Like, because do I eat a clean, healthy diet every day? No. So therefore I need to make up for it. And with the external stresses we have today, I don't believe the food that we have in the mainstream market is going to take care of us like it would have 30 years ago. Because we're up later, we've got technology more, we stress ourselves in other levels more. So I think the body is under stress so much more these days that people don't even realise that it is under stress. Like if you go to bed after 10 o'clock, you've put your system under stress without even realising it. And you do it accumulative over time. There's an amount of stress, over 5 years that's going to take effect at some level. So, in my opinion, vitamins do have their place, but then you can't take that as gospel and saying, well, then I'll live a diet of vitamins, because people do that too. They supplement, that rather than have whole foods, they'll eat vitamins for breakfast, lunch, and dinner pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think, that you've taken it too far again.
Right.
First and foremost, whole foods, regardless whether it's from your veggie patch or supermarket, and then secondary after that, hence the term supplement, you substitute with other things that you think may be lacking in your diet.
And the experts also acknowledge, though, it all depends on where you live, but in New Zealand, our diet does lack certain nutrients because it's not in the soil, selenium being one of them. Also, we don't find natural forms of iodine in New Zealand either, and so we're finding that we have iodized salt because of that. So there are acknowledgements within the scientific community that the diet in New Zealand isn't full and complete.
No, absolutely, it's not. We are promoted to be clean, green, and all the rest of it, but that's not entirely true. Selenium's been raped of our soil for over 50 years, I think it is, off the top of my head. I could be wrong there, and stuff. So, I mean, there's definitely deficiencies in our soil and in our food, and we're part of the clean green culture too. I mean, the States is even worse than us, and England as well. So, I mean, we do have it pretty green compared to other nations. And that, but at the end of the day, the big message is eat whole foods, which is real foods, vegetables, and less boxed up foods because they're full of rubbish. And if you feel you need to still have vitamins to help stabilise your hormonal system, then do it, or have a hormonal profile.
Spider Hunter, that's all we've got time for. Thanks very much.
My pleasure, Wammo. Thank you.
People can continue the conversation on Twitter, twitter.com/Spider Hunter, SPIDA, Hunter one word, or over at your blog, ehpfitness.com. Thanks, Spider. Cheers.